folks, welcome to Guitar Daily. It's Nick Granville coming to you from Wellington, New Zealand. I hope everybody's doing well. So today I thought I'd talk about triads. There's some cool stuff with triads. Triads are good fun, in my opinion, right? Because they're a very simple kind of structure, right? If you think about it, it's about as simple as you can get and still have a chord. If I play a C major triad, C, E, G, 3 notes, it spells that sound perfectly. You don't need any more than that to really say C. Right? Of course, we can play these all over the neck in a bunch of different orders. You need to learn that kind of stuff up first. But I'd start here, right? C, E, G. Just that much, right? And then play the inversion of it, which is E, G, C. And then the inversion, right? Which is G, C, E. Right? So now you have 3 different ways you can play it. And then, of course, it repeats up an octave. But you can also do it C, E, G there. But you can also do that G, C and E, and then of course you can do and you would have, right? If I move up to the next inversion, I realize I'm going through these quickly. There's loads of videos out there about this as well, or you can slow this down. That's super useful on YouTube, right? And then the octave repeats, right? And the thing with those is they're really simple to kind of see, right? Now, there's a couple of ways I use triads pretty regularly, actually. I use them as like chordal things, but also for soloing. But I'll start with them as like chordal things first, because then it's an easy way to understand them, right? If I have a 2-5-1, say D minor, G7, C, classic chord progression that pops up all the time in jazz music and pop songs, all kinds of stuff, right? Especially as a lot of pop artists use jazz harmony, especially nowadays. Right, so let's look at that. If we take D minor, right, and we put a C triad over it, we get C, E, G. It's basically a D minor 11, excuse me. Pretty cool, isn't it? It's a pretty color. Right, and then if I go to G, I can do the same thing, but move up a semitone and play D flat triad, and then move up a semitone and play D triad. And what I get is like D minor 11, G altered, right? It's got a flat 5, a flat 7, and a flat 9, so lots of altered notes, and then C major 13. Although these chords are all incomplete because they're only parts of chords, right? But if you're playing in a band, so you're playing with a bass player and a piano player, the piano player will probably have the 3rd and the 7th, right? If they don't, then, you know, it doesn't even matter. But I kind of like a little bit of ambiguity and a little bit of openness to things, right? It's a really cool 2-5-1, isn't it? Of course, we can do it in another voicing. So, right, D, but with a C triad over it. I need to put the guitar like this. Right, so D with a C triad over it, and G with a D flat over it. It's pretty cool, isn't it? It's a good sound. So that's one that I quite like using a lot. Now, of course, I can also go just straight F major triad. If I go F major triad over D, that gives me D minor 7. Well, that's cool too, right? And then if I was going to take the same principle and go to a G, play G flat triad, right? It basically just becomes tension notes. But if we were to analyze it, we'd say it's flat 5, major 7, sharp 9. So the major 7's not so great, but we're using it as a passing chord anyway. And then, right? So the general thing with it is a lot of times what you do on your D, if you move it up 1 semitone, you'll get some kind of tension, and then you move it up 1 semitone again and you get your resolution. Pretty cool, right? Good sound. Kind of hard. I wish I could play that. I can't quite reach that. Put a G over the bottom of it. So that's another one that's worth doing, right? And worth looking at. You can't really do them the other direction. The resolution doesn't really work. If I go, then I was to go, it's really C minor, isn't it? The way in that instance I'd go, much works, and then find some other C that makes sense, to say C6-9. So I'm not really playing a triad anymore, but I'm essentially playing F triad over D, E triad over G, which is a good one, right? Gives you the third, the 13, and the flat 9. So yeah, and then I'd find some kind of resolution. Right? And that's the thing with all this stuff, is whenever you play anything, as an exercise, we might try and go, well, I'm just going to do triad followed by triad followed by triad. But in real playing, it doesn't really work like that. You don't have to play, stick to any one thing. You can mix and match, right? So to me, it's like triad, triad, resolve to whatever you feel like. That's cool. And that's a great triad sound, right? Now, I'm mentioning there's all these chords, but I use these when I solo too. Right, they're a good sound. It's kind of interesting too, like in that instance I started getting into some low D major stuff over the C. What happens is you tend to, your ear pulls you towards the hearing that is D, not as C, right? So you still need to keep the root note in mind when you're doing this stuff. Of course, if you're playing over tracks, that makes things easier. That track I was playing at the beginning was Phil Wilkinson music, organ and drums. I really like his tracks. They feel good. That's the thing, like a lot of backing tracks I hear, it's like someone's done it in MIDI and I'm like, it's just awful, right? Like, why would I want to try and get some of that MIDI flavor into my groove? Whereas this stuff is like, it's real players. It feels good. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, so anyway, I hope you found this useful. There's just a couple of quick triad things that I use a lot, both as soloing and both as chords, rhythm, guitar stuff. Conceptually, I think triads are a great idea, right? Explore this because there's a load more territory. I'm just scratching the surface with this stuff, right? If you like this video, please subscribe. I post every day on YouTube, all kinds of stuff, guitar lessons, music, my stuff, my career as a session musician. I do a weekly live stream on Sundays at 6:30, which I can do this week, so we should be all good. Sometimes it changes time, but generally 6:30. Otherwise, I'm just here to kind of create this community, which I'm doing around this YouTube channel, and I love that you all interact and kind of talk about stuff and be involved with this. It's awesome. So thanks very much. I'll see you tomorrow. Cheers.